election, it looks like the Open University isn't that open after all.
Yeah. Open University academic wins tribunal over gender-critical views. This is Professor Joe Phoenix. This is another victory for gender-critical people. Essentially, after criticising Stonewall Charity, she's been found to be constructively dismissed by the university. She was on Women's Hour this morning on Radio 4, which is kind of a bit of a breakthrough because Women's Hour tend to prefer to put on trans women than actual women. So she was on, she talked about the trauma of there was about 350 of her colleagues signing letters against her, people calling her racist, implying that she's racist and transphobic and all. She hasn't said anything transphobic at all, just standing up for sex-based rights. And so this is one other... there's been a few of these cases brought forward by feminists, by women.
Yeah, there's Rachel Mead, there's Maya Forstarter, Twisted Forstarter.
Yeah, this, as she likes to be called. And she'll sue you. and all of them have come out as victory because it seems like only in the courts do we actually see some sanity, which is what we've seen here. The mad thing is at the end, though, Tim Blackman, who's the Vice-Chancellor of the Open University, said that the university was disappointed by the judgment. No, Tim, why don't you be disappointed by your university's behaviour? Yeah. That's what you should be disappointed on. You have been found guilty. And it's like, have you learned anything? But by the last few years, and this poor professor has been sort of ostracised. Horrible.
And what's interesting is a lot of universities and other institutions, businesses and all the rest of it think that there's legislation that requires diversity, equity and inclusion and requires, gender-critical beliefs to be slapped down and, white people to be discriminated against. But actually, the legislation that they think requires these rules defends people. The Equality Act defends the right to have gender-critical, biology-based or, real-life opinions that are based in reality as opposed to Twitter in 2016.
And that explains why the courts then do their job. The question that's hidden here then is, where is this perception coming from that the law actually works the other way?
Stonewall, and also, diversity, equity and inclusion has exploded as a business, and it's through every HR department, and they don't really understand all the legislation, to be honest. They're not the smartest people, otherwise they wouldn't work in HR. So what conservatives are doing now, or what gender realists and people like that are doing now, is actually suing law firms when they step out of line, when they get it wrong, because then the law firms provide advice to all the corporations and all the organisations. So it's a quick way of getting the advice out rather than suing everybody.
That's an interesting thing. Yeah, there's a very damning part in the judge's findings where he basically said, you're all academics and you work with facts and reason, yet basically none of you had any. That was the gist of it.